We have time for maybe 2 or 3 questions here. Let's first start with one that I will ask Bruce to answer. And the question is, how does the decision of whether you choose asset or contract level lease accounting factor into Sarbanes-Oxley SOX compliance?
Well, Sarbanes-Oxley is do I have my mute off? Yes, I do. Sarbanes-Oxley is all about having controls and procedures in place to be able to generate accurate financials, so accurate debits and credits. So if you can't, if you cannot do that because you don't have asset level accounting, or you don't have asset level controls, you don't have asset level management, then you're not SOX compliant. So yes, all of the things that I was talking about that impact the ability to generate debits and credits at the asset level are required for SOX compliance. It's critical. That's pretty much it, Steve.
Yeah, there's a question here that came in from Michael Corcoran. If this assessment implementation is not completed in 2017, won't it be very difficult to get comparative information under old and new standards once adopted in first quarter of 2019? Let me take a quick crack at that, Bruce, then you can take it. I think if we're already past January 1st, 2017, you just have to claw back the data from January 1st, 2017, and try to make it as accurate as it was, right? So it's a challenge. The farther you get away from that date, the harder it is to kind of capture that data. Bruce, you want to make a comment?
Yeah, you don't know what you don't know. For December 31st filers, March 31st, 2019, they're going to have 3 years income statement comparative to year's balance sheet. Now, there's other issues that need to be considered, or, are they electing the practical expedience? What information do they currently have available? So it's on a company-by-company basis, but in general, if you don't know exactly what you're doing and know exactly what information you have today and all of the complexities associated with the standard, then, that is a very, very risky scenario of not having it completed in 2017.
Okay, let's try to squeeze one last question here. Michael, the other question that we got was, who else beyond accounting and the controllership really needs to be involved in this discussion? There were a number of other asset owners mentioned during the webinar.
Well, the people who are the asset owners and asset users are going to be important because they have, current knowledge of the assets and the leases. So you got to get the data. And I would say that the way that we're seeing it manifest in the market is there's really 2 approaches. There's one is I just want to do my critical path to compliance, and the critical path to compliance is try just to kind of get the data and get in a system so you can you have all the data and you can generate your disclosure, right? But the bigger picture approach that we're seeing companies come back around to, especially the ones that have bigger portfolios and essentially have more at risk, is that they have to interact with procurement to try to fix the process in the beginning, because a lot of times the data they're going to be able to capture internally is fragmented because a lot of they don't have it. So if you fix the process in the beginning, you can ensure that when you do a transaction, you have all the data at the time of transaction. So that over time, your database gets better and better quality, right? And the auditability goes up, right? So procurement / sourcing on the front end, Treasury sometimes is responsible for the leasing program, right? Because it's kind of balance sheet optimization, and there's capital markets players involved, counterparties or banks or leasing companies, right? And so sometimes they want to be involved, and of course there's a lease versus buy analysis component. Then they're going to be determining what those rates are for each country, and so they're going to have to be involved, right? And you need to figure out the incremental borrowing rate for every month for every lease, so you're still going to have to interact with them to get that on a routine basis, right? And on a historical basis, and then the operations as well. Right, so those are the players that we see around the table for people who really want to put in place a long-term, sustainable, scalable, transformed process. So I hope that was helpful.